In this video, we are going to review what Google thinks of AI generated content. So Google's recently released documentation setting the record straight how it deals with AI generated content. In this video, I'm going to go through it step by step and translate what that means for the world of content creation and SEO. Sticking to the AI theme of things, I'm going to get a voice generator to read it out to me. Now, if you are new here, before I start, don't forget to like and subscribe for weekly SEO content.
Google searches guidance about AI-generated content. Wednesday, February 8, 2023. At Google, we've long believed in the power of AI to transform the ability to deliver helpful information. In this post, we'll share more about how AI-generated content fits into our long-standing approach to show helpful content to people on search.
So I think that first bit there initially says a lot, that they feel like that they have to put a piece of documentation out on how they're responding to it. A year ago, I think it'd be quite crazy to even imagine that Google would be putting documentation out there saying, yeah, this is how we're going to work with AI content going forward. I think it was always assumed amongst SEOs that AI content would be grouped within mass generated content. So yeah, it's really interesting that they're actually putting this out here to say, ultimately, we know that you're going to do it, so you might as well follow our guidelines and do it right.
Rewarding high-quality content, however it is produced. Google's ranking systems aim to reward original, high-quality content that demonstrates qualities of what we call EEAT: expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. We share more about this in our How Search Works site. Our focus on the quality of content, rather than how content is produced, is a useful guide that has helped us deliver reliable, high-quality results to users for years. For example, about 10 years ago, there were understandable concerns about a rise in mass-produced yet human-generated content. No one would have thought it reasonable for us to declare a ban on all human-generated content in response. Instead, it made more sense to improve our systems to reward quality content, as we did. Focusing on rewarding quality content has been core to Google since we began. It continues today, including through our ranking systems designed to surface reliable information and our helpful content system. The helpful content system was introduced last year to better ensure those searching get content created primarily for people, rather than for search ranking purposes.
There's a couple of interesting takeaways here. Ultimately, what Google is saying is EEAT still rules. So if you've got the expertise, the experience, the authoritativeness, and the trustworthiness in the topic, and you're using AI, you'll still rank over somebody who hasn't got that authority. Pretty much all they're hammering home here is quality, quality, quality of content. So if you're going to use AI to generate content, just make sure it's up to the same standard of quality as you would if you were hiring a writer or writing it yourself. I think this bit here is really interesting as well. For example, 10 years ago, there were concerns about a rise in mass-produced content. We wouldn't have banned that, so we're not going to ban it now. So I think we've come to a crossroads, obviously, where Google is saying, look, we either can't detect it or we're going to integrate it into our SERPs anyway. So if people are going to use AI generated content, you still need to make sure the quality is there within the piece of work. I think if anything, AI generated content's going to massively push the importance of link acquisition. So what's going to separate two sites that have both got, a couple of thousand words that have been generated by AI, maybe they've been proofed by an editor, it's going to come down to that authority piece. So who's got the best backlink profile, what author is most relevant. So I think we're going to see a lot more of a push in terms of the authority building side of things in SEO. Right, on to the next paragraph.
How automation can create helpful content. When it comes to automatically generated content, our guidance has been consistent for years. Using automation, including AI, to generate content with the primary purpose of manipulating ranking in search results is a violation of our spam policies.
So effectively, don't use AI to manipulate search results. It's always a funny one, that one is, because SEOs, we're paid to manipulate search results, but I guess we've got to do it within the confines of Google's documentation, or at least be seen by Google to be doing that.
Google has many years of experience dealing with automation being used in an attempt to game search results. Our spam fighting efforts, including our spam brain system, will continue, however spam is produced. This said, it's important to recognize that not all use of automation, including AI generation, is spam. Automation has long been used to generate helpful content, such as sports scores, weather forecasts, and transcripts. AI has the ability to power new levels of expression and creativity, and to serve as a critical tool to help people create great content for the web.
So basically here Google's saying AI has been around for ages. It's just become popular. People have obviously been asking them what are the guidelines on producing AI content. Am I going to get penalised in the next Google update? So what Google have done is basically said, look, we've been dealing with this for years. We know how to find out if you're manipulating search results. AI's been around for ages. It's going to be around going forward, but just make sure you're producing high quality content.
This is in line with how we've always thought about empowering people with new technologies. We'll continue taking this responsible approach, while also maintaining a high bar for information quality and the overall helpfulness of content on search.
So ultimately they're just confirming, look, we're not going to penalise you specifically for using AI, but if you mass produce it or spam content, then you will be penalised, and we know how to detect that.
Is AI content against Google Search's guidelines? Appropriate use of AI or automation is not against our guidelines. This means that it is not used to generate content primarily to manipulate search rankings, which is against our spam policies.
So AI content is not against Google's guidelines. Appropriate use is. I guess it's to be determined what appropriate use is. Will they penalise me if I've consistently published 3 posts a week and then I use AI to publish 1 post a day? Or will they just look at the quality of that content that's produced?
Why doesn't Google Search ban AI content? Automation has long been used in publishing to create useful content. AI can assist with and generate useful content in exciting new ways. How will Google...
So effectively here they're just saying that they don't want to ban AI generated content. They don't see why that they should. And ultimately I think we all know that AI generated content is here to stay. I think people still underestimate the amount of work that has to go into generating the actual article itself, coming up with the plan of it and editing it. Although I found that AI probably cuts the content generation time in half, it still takes 2 to 3 hours to write, edit and optimize an article appropriately.
How will Google Search prevent poor quality AI content from taking over search results? Poor quality content isn't a new challenge for Google Search to deal with. We've been tackling poor quality content created both by humans and automation for years. We have existing systems to determine the helpfulness of content. Other systems work to elevate original news reporting. Our systems continue to be regularly improved.
I guess this question here is potentially for people that are worrying, who've put years of hard work into creating high quality user focused content. Here Google's just saying, look, we're going to reassure you that we are still going to monitor and make sure that high quality content gets rewarded, and ultimately you won't just see a load of new sites popping up creating hundreds of articles a week and taking over the SERPs. I do think that we are going to see an influx in content and it's going to become a hell of a lot more competitive. But Google is pretty much saying, look, we know what we're doing. We've dealt with a lot of advances in technology and this isn't something new for us. So we'll still be able to detect low quality content, and effectively there's nothing to worry about if you are doing it correctly.
How will Google address AI content that potentially propagates misinformation or contradicts consensus on important topics? These issues exist in both human-generated and AI-generated content. However content is produced, our systems look to surface high-quality information from reliable sources, and not information that contradicts well-established consensus on important topics. On topics where information quality is critically important, like health, civic, or financial information, our systems place an even greater emphasis on signals of reliability.
So Google's basically saying here that it knows how to deal with sources of misinformation at the moment and nothing's going to change. And it's saying there that whenever we're talking about YMYL topics, so that's your money, your life, anything to do with health or finances, it's still going to have that heavy focus on authority and reliability to get a high ranking in the SERP. So it's saying you won't be able to just AI produce content on these topics, and you'll effectively need to have that reliability or that authoritativeness behind you on them.
Will AI content rank highly on search? Using AI doesn't give content any special gains. It's just content. If it is useful, helpful, original, and satisfies aspects of EEAT, it might do well in search. If it doesn't, it might not.
So effectively they're saying it might rank, it might not.
Should I use AI to generate content? If you see AI as an essential way to help you produce content that is helpful and original, it might be useful to consider. If you see AI as an inexpensive, easy way to game search engine rankings, then no.
So here Google's just reiterating, I guess, the message of the whole article. If you're going to use AI to help you or improve your content, fantastic. If you're going to use it to mass produce a load of crap, then no, you won't rank.
Should I add author bylines to all my content? You should consider having accurate author bylines when readers would reasonably expect it, such as to any content where someone might think, "Who wrote this?" As a reminder, publishers that appear in Google News should use bylines and author information. Learn more on our Google News policies page.
So here Google's just continuing to say, add your author bio to your pieces of content.
Should I add AI or automation disclosures to my content? AI or automation disclosures are useful for content where someone might think, "How was this created?" Consider adding these when it would be reasonably expected.
This one's really interesting, and I think this could be one that's added into the documentation and best practice on how to deal with AI content. So I think it's fairly reasonable that if you are using AI to generate content, that the person reading it should be made aware of this, or there should be something on the page to say this. So I could see in the future Google rolling out this guideline that you should add that it's generated by AI if it is, and then if you don't add that to your page and they detect it is, maybe you'll be penalised. I think that's a really interesting one in this article.
Can I list AI as the author of content? Giving AI an author byline is probably not the best way to follow our recommendation to make clear to readers when AI is part of the content creation process.
So here it's just saying, no, there's not really any point in doing this. Obviously the author bio helps to the authority piece, it helps people know who's writing it. You adding AI content as an author bio is not really going to help this, is it? So I hope you enjoyed this video where we discussed Google's documentation on how it deals with AI content. I think the message is pretty clear. If you're using AI, don't use it to mass create content or spam the SERPs. Continue to make content how you always have, with the user in mind. And I think going forward, Google is going to put more of an emphasis on the authority and reliability piece around the website. So we could see link acquisition coming even more important in an SEO campaign. So thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you come back to check out next week's video.